Hey everybody, now we're going to learn how to read rhythms. So they're not really hard, but it can be a little confusing if you've not done it before, which is understandable. So what in the world does all this stuff mean here? Okay, well, before we get into that, let me just kind of talk about note names. All right, so you basically have three type of notes we're going to start with. Okay, there's others, but there's three main types for right now. So this is a whole note. As you look at my terrible handwriting, it gets 4 beats, okay? 4 beats. Looks like a donut, all right? Well, I'll talk about what this means in just a moment. For right now, you just need to learn what these notes are, okay? This is a half note. It gets 2 beats. Basically, it looks like a whole note with a stem or a leg. And then you have a a quarter note. And it's basically just colored in. It's all solid, all right? This is a quarter note. It gets 1 beat, all right? So that's it. For right now, that's the 3 type of notes we're going to have. So let's go up here and look. Let me zoom in on the first 2 measures here. All right, so what in the world do all these symbols and things mean? Or what is even a measure? Well, let's start with the time signature, okay? The time signature, it tells you how many beats are in each measure and what type of note gets the beats. So the top number is 4 in this case, and it means that there's 4 beats per measure. If this were anything else, if it were like a 2, that means there's 2 beats per measure, or 3, or whatever, a 5, 10, whatever. But the most common one you will always see is 4. The bottom number is also 4, and it means the quarter note gets the beat. Remember, every note like this is a quarter note. All right, so, and they all get one beat apiece. So if you're going to fill up a measure with quarter notes, then it's exactly what's right here, okay? Because there's 4 quarter notes, they all get 1 beat apiece, and there's 4 total beats per measure. So in other words, every beat is taken up. Now here's what I mean by that. The very first thing in any measure, what note it is, no matter if it's a long or short note, it's always going to happen on beat 1. So this is 1. All right, remember, they all get 1 beat apiece. So this is obviously going to be, what's the next number after 1? 2, after that, 3, and then finally 4. All right, so that's it. Nothing to it. Now, let's count that rhythm, okay? We're going to count from here, well, from the beginning to the end of that measure, all right? So, count the brackets. Ready? And 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. All right, now pat your foot as you do it. Pat, pat, say it, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nothing to it, all right? Now, let's clap it. Every time you say a number, you clap. It's like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's that easy. Do it with me. Ready? Pat, pat, say, and clap. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nothing to it. Nothing to it. Those are easy. Now let's look at these next ones, okay? This next measure. This next measure looks like it's shorter, but it's actually not shorter. It's the same amount of time. It just looks shorter. So this note here is a half note, and it gets 2 beats. So remember, the first thing in any measure is what number? It's always going to be 1. So this is going to be 1. Now you don't say 2. Why don't you say 2? Well, remember right here, had got the quarter notes beside each other. Excuse me, it's quarter notes right here. That's what 1, 2 looks like. So you're gonna say 1, un, right here for the half notes. Okay, 1, un. So you're gonna say 1. That's how you do it with the beat going. So pat your feet, pat, pat. Just say it. Just say it. 1. Now, very good. And if you look at this one. Remember, I'm not sure if I've told you this already, but music is all about patterns. Where patterns repeat themselves. So we got these 2 quarter notes right here. If you look in the first measure, we already have seen 2 quarter notes as well. And so if it works the same way the beginning measure, then it's going to work the exact same way in the second measure. So these are both going to be 3 and 4, just like in the first measure. This is not difficult. I'm sure you're getting into home. If you're not, that's okay, because it normally takes a few days for doing this stuff where it makes sense. Anyway, let's count that measure right here, one we just did. All right, counting this measure. Ready? Say it. Ready? And 1, 3, 4. That's how it works. 1, 3, 4. Now pat your feet. Pat, pat. Let's say it again. Go. 1, 3, 4. Now, the way you clap this one is a little different. You can do a clap and then a pulse. And why? Because it's a half note. Now, you don't do a pulse on regular quarter notes. It's just the long notes, like half notes and whole notes. Okay, so it's going to be 1, and then you're going to clap once on 3, once on 4. So 1, 3, 4. All right, let's try that together. Pat your feet. Pat, pat. Ready, go. 1, 3, 4. That's it. Now, last thing. Now, if you're noticing, remember I said about patterns earlier? This measure here is the exact same thing as the first measure. So, same rhythms. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's all there is to it. All right, now let's look at the last measure as I correct our drawing here. All right, so remember the first thing's always first, which is 1. So 1, this is just like the other measure we looked at earlier. Happens on 1, remember? 1. And then this one can be a little confusing. It's not going to be 2, it's going to be 3, because beats 1 and 2 are right here, okay? So that's where they're at. Now you're going to say 3E, because you do a pulse on that beat, whatever it happens on. If it happened on 2, you say 2. This one happens on 3, so you're going to go 3E. So it's 1, 3E. All right, pat your feet. Pat, pat, clap, and say it. Ready, go. 1, 3E. Stop. That's it. That's all there is to it. Now, we're going to try to say the whole thing and go through. If this is a little confusing and too much information, it's okay. Just try to say it. You know, you're welcome to rewind it and go through it again. So, start at the very beginning, and we're going to go to the very end. Ready? Pat your feet. Pat, pat, clap, and say it not too fast. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 3. Now this time I want you to clap by yourself, but I'm going to show the a line that goes over the top of the notes as you're counting, okay? So let's do it. Pat your feet. Pat, pat, clap, and say. 1. Well, I'm sorry, I counted that wrong. Let's try it one more time. My mistake. Ready? Go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 3. That's it. That's all there is to it. So, if it's a little confusing, go back and look at it again. So, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.